All right, everybody. We have a different guest today. If you scroll to the post underneath this, wherever this is, and the post above the live that we just did, we're only live in this group right now, you will see that I just shared some of Bree's transformation pictures. And I shared them on purpose. Number one, so that you could read the post, make sure you read the post, but I wanted you to see what Bree looked like when she started her journey, right? What she looked like the day before her show in Orlando, her first show, where she was from the first show to a month before the Miami show, and where she is now. But one of the things that I wanted to highlight was that between show day in Orlando, show day in Miami, what was the weight difference between the two?
Show day in Orlando versus the same.
So you weighed the same. So between her show in her show in Orlando and her show in Miami, she didn't lose anything on the scale. But if you look at her body was completely different. Between the day that she started...
Baby Chapter 10 is coming out tonight.
Tonight. Perfect.
Okay. Can I game that?
Yes. Between the day that she started and the day before the Orlando show, she lost 20 pounds. Okay, now if you look at the pictures, that's the number. She lost 20 pounds between day one, maybe 21?
Maybe, yeah. Yeah.
21. Between day one and the day before the show. Between Orlando and Miami, the weight on the scale was the same, but you can see how much her weight has improved. And between Miami and the pictures that we just shared from now, she's lost 4 pounds, right? So if you are using the scale as the definition of whether or not you were going to see progress, by definition, that would be a fail, right? You would say, if we shared it on paper and say, here's client A, and from Miami, which was in November, to now, end of April, we're looking at end of November, right? Or mid-November. Mid-November, so December, January, February, March, April. So in 5 months, she's lost 4 pounds. Yeah. That's terrible, right? Like, on paper.
Yeah.
Like, you would say, wow, you should hire another coach. Because who loses 4 pounds in 5 months?
Yeah.
But look at the pictures, and that's what I'm always talking about. Like, if your only reference point is how much weight you've lost, you will get lost in the process that we're trying to go through. Okay, but I wanted to bring her on. I know I'm talking a lot, but I wanted to bring her on because I wanted her to say it from her perspective, because she knows what she did and what she didn't do, and I wanted you to hear it firsthand. So, prep one. How consistent or on your game were you?
Oh my God, probably. Okay, so my prep was 15 weeks total. So I started in March and then I finished like mid-June.
Late March. And then, so 15 weeks total. And then literally for the first probably 10 weeks. So like the first 10 weeks, I was like going maybe 20%. Like I had the workouts and like my food was iffy here and there. Right, she worked out here with us. She came to a class. One class.
I did one class. And then here, probably like 4 times a week. Mm-hmm. And then my weekends were always off. Like I would tell him like, oh yeah, mama, I'm on it. I wasn't sending pictures or anything, but I was like snacking here and there. If Junior was next to me, like I would take a little bit of whatever he was eating. Well, I didn't tell him, but he knows, obviously. But like that first 10 weeks was probably like 20% effort, honestly, from what I could see now. Then I thought I was doing maybe 80 or whatever. But then that last 5 weeks, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go in and I'm going to focus because I don't like the way that I look right now. Like, I still feel like I look like that, how I started. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to put more effort. And it probably was like maybe 50 or 60. And then...
In comparison to now.
In comparison to now.
In terms of the eating. Because you were training hard.
Yeah.
You were still working out.
Right. But the food specifically was like where I always struggle. And that was like... compared to how I'm doing right now, 50, 60, but in my head I was like maybe 90.
And you still lost 21 pounds.
Yeah.
So that was great.
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
You still felt good because you were, if you compare where you started to the show, big transformation.
Yeah.
But then after the show, then you decided to do it again.
Right. And after the show, like, my problem was, like, I didn't reverse the right way. So, like, I didn't listen to him. And I just did whatever I wanted because I was like, you know what? My show's not soon. So let me just kind of eat here and there. And I ended up gaining, like, 15 pounds back. Like, I started at 181. And then by the time that I was, like, trying to get serious again, I had been, like, 175, 176 already.
How much? So you started at 181?
I started at 181.
And you were at 160 show day.
Show day. And I was like, oh, snap, what? But then, like, freaking 2 months later, I was back at 175, and I was like, duh. But it was because I wasn't listening.
And she was still determined to do a show.
Yeah, like, the amount of talks that him and I had about, like, Bree, like, get on it, because, like, you're not on it. And I was like, no, I am. I promise. But I really wasn't. But it took a lot of...
But here's the reason that I wanted her to share it is because you might be listening to it and say, yeah, but, she wasn't on it. She believed she was.
Yeah, I really did.
She thought she was doing everything, And now, in retrospect, now that she is doing everything, she can look back and say...
What? What?
Like...
You can tell. You can tell when you're
Right.
not doing it and when you know. Like, deep down, I was like, I know I'm not, but in my head, I was like, yeah, I'm on it. I'm doing everything I have
Or
to.
I'm going to get to it, Next meal is going to be 100%, or tomorrow will be 100%, or next week.
Or I'll just fix the rest of the day. Don't worry about this morning. I'll fix the
Now,
rest.
in your opinion, I know that everybody's been locked up during the quarantine, but I think that from when we got back from Atlantic City, you've been doing really good.
Yeah.
So from December to now, what do you think has changed in your opinion? For you, in your opinion?
Okay. So after the Miami show until Atlantic City, I was trying to take like a little bit of a break in my head. And like, I kind of wasn't 100% on like my reverse. Like I was for the most part, probably like 70-ish% on it. But here and there were like simple meals that I would just kind of eat on the weekends or whatever the case was, not working out as much, taking a lot more off days. And when we got back from Atlantic City, I'm going to find pictures for you. Like I looked skinny, and like, that was like always my thing. Like, oh my God, I want to be skinny. Like a few years ago or last year. And I was like, okay, I'm skinny. Like, this isn't good. But like, when I weighed myself and then I looked at like, I have really like no muscle definition. Like I was thin and stuff, and I was like, okay, like it's nice to be this thin. But from then to now, I don't know, like I just feel like after putting in so much work, I push harder at the gym, more focus on my food. Like I just feel like the change is more drastic than like how to explain it.
And then, so you started your journey a year ago.
Right.
It's only been a year.
Yeah.
Right? And you were eating like crap before that. Like crap. And not working out at all. Right? So 180 pounds when you started. Mm-hmm. You lost 181. Mm-hmm. You lost 21. Mm-hmm. You got on stage at 160 in Orlando.
Yes.
Right? And if you look at the pictures from Orlando, the ones that we shared, to now, how much better do you look in your opinion?
Oh my God. This body that I have, like when I took the picture, I'm like, no, there's no way. Like I'm looking at myself, I'm like, like there's smoke coming out of my ears. Like there's no way that I look like that, because that is like my dream body. And it's like...
And how much do you weigh now?
This, like 163.
So you're 3 pounds heavier than your show day.
And I feel like I look better.
So you've gained weight.
I've gained weight.
So I'm terrible. The worst.
But like compared, like I feel like I look so much better than I did in Miami.
The thing, and listen, I make a joke of it, and obviously we can joke about it, but the perception that the scale is going to dictate how you look has to be, you got to get rid of it. The amount of work that you put in the gym is going to show up because you're putting in the work. But the consistency that you need in order to get the outcome that you want in the eating part is only going to show up if you're consistent about it, right?
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the scale. We use the scale as a tool to see how it's sitting. She weighs herself every single day like everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that, do you ever feel frustrated with the scale?
No, not
Do you-
anymore.
do you
I
used-
used to. I used to be like, why is my weight going up? Like, I'm supposed to be trying to lose weight.
How much weight do you gain when your cycle's coming?
Probably like 2-3 pounds.
Do you freak out?
Slightly, because I'm like, did I do something wrong? But like, in reality, I know it's coming. So I'm like,
Okay.
yeah.
And what other things do you notice along the way that have been different in terms of your focus? Because at the end of it, it's all a compound thing. At the end of this journey, like the outcome that she's gotten now isn't a result of this prep. It's not December till now. It's everything for the last year, right? So every up and down is part of it. And that's what I tell all of you. Your outcomes, your results are everything that you've done. It's every meal, every workout, right? Combined. But if you've only been doing it for a certain amount of time, that's why you can't compare to somebody that's been doing it longer. And the reason that I wanted to do it with her is because I know where she started. And she started at the very, very bottom. No working out, terrible eating. As a matter of fact, she has a really bad palate. Like, she only likes junk, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard for her to eat the right thing, and it's monotonous and boring, especially at her age, where the idea of eating in a way that supports a goal is not on the top of the list, right? There are a lot of challenges that come with a certain level of maturity and experience that you can't understand. Like, why do I need to do it? Why do I need to sacrifice this? And if you look at, like, we have, like, the picture that we have there, show day in Miami, she looked great. Like,
Yeah.
we have videos. She looked great that day. And she looked 20 times better than she did in Orlando. So from
Yeah.
Orlando to Miami, there was a significant amount of progress. And she still wasn't doing 100%. But from Miami till now, it is night and day. And she is heavier now.
Yeah.
Because she has acquired more muscle. And she's acquired a lot more muscle and continued to burn fat. But as a result, she is 4 pounds heavier.
Yeah.
So that is one of the things that is hardest to grasp until you've experienced it. And that's the reason for the video.
Yeah.
You have to go through that process. You have to go through the process to live it and experience it before you can comprehend it. Go ahead.
But it took me 2 preps to finally, like, understand that that's what I was supposed to be doing. Like, even after the first prep where I know I didn't do, like, what I was supposed to, that second prep I still wasn't 100%. And I know. Like, now I know. But, like...
Because now she is.
Right, because now I am. Now I know what 100% looks like.
So if you look at the outcome that she has now, the outcome that she has now is whatever level of effort she put from day one to show day in Orlando, whatever level of effort she put from Orlando to Miami, and then the 100% that she's been putting in from, like, let's say January till now.
Right.
So when you look at it, it's still not even a year of 100% commitment and discipline and focus.
Nope.
It is the combined effect of everything that she's put out.
Yeah. Like, for sure, though, even with, like, the minimal amount of effort that I put for the first show for Orlando, like, I still feel like I saw a lot of progress, but it still wasn't enough.
Right.
For me, for my preference, for what I want.
So you understand how everybody feels, like, because everybody here is doing it for the first time. Mm-hmm. You understand, what did you feel like the first time around when the scale wasn't moving as fast?
When the scale wasn't moving as fast, I felt like almost like a little bit of frustration, because I was kind of like, man, like, I have a deadline, I have a goal, and, like, the scale thing isn't moving, and isn't that, like, what's supposed to be happening, like, when you're getting ready for something that you're, like, supposed to look better for? Like, I didn't really understand that it's not always all about the scale.
Right.
So
but you still did it.
I still did it. I was like, man, like, I need to set this goal for myself, because if not, I'll never do it.
Either way, at the end, you ended up looking better than you did at the beginning.
Yeah.
Her first show, her first experience. Again, if you look at the transformation between day one and show day, again, 21 pounds.
Yeah.
21 pounds, and she did feel, you could see it in her face. She felt better.
Yeah,
You
and
know,
it
like literally felt better. She was happier. It was the best she's ever looked. Mm-hmm. But now that best she's ever looked has changed, because if you compare that till now, but that's the thing, you can't compare it till now, because that best before became the standard, and it's like, all right, so this is the best I've ever looked. How much better can I do? But you had to get there first.
Yeah.
You couldn't say day one that you wanted to look the way you look now. Could you even have thought it would happen?
I promise you, like, I never thought that I would look.
And we have 8 weeks to go.
That's my thing. Like, show day for Orlando, like, I was like, okay, you know, it's finally here. This is what I look like. But 2 months out from my next show, I look like the best I've ever looked. Like, imagine 8 more weeks of, like, hardcore 100%. Like, I don't even care. I'm going to be freaking on fire.
Anyway, so wanted to share that. I hope that helps. It's always better to hear it from somebody else, I think. Somebody that's going through the same journey. And even somebody who's gone through the journey a few times. You know, it's always good. So I hope that information helps. And
one more thing, I want you all to know, just because I live with him does not mean I listen to him all the time.
It doesn't.
I promise you, I listen to him probably 10%, 10%, and I live with him, and I'm his daughter.
And she knows that you should do more.
I was telling him when we got here, I was like, man, you know, if only I listened to you more and I just did what you said.
It's a process, people. You know, it's a process, and it takes time, but it does take more consistency than time. The consistency is so much more important than the time you put in.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so hope that makes sense. Hope you got something out of this. You're all doing great. Do not beat yourselves up, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't going in the direction that it should have, I would tell you. You know, as your coach, I'm going to be honest with you. I would tell you, listen, you're not doing what you need to do. There's no point in me lying to you. There isn't. You know, it's not going to help you. So you are all doing great. If there was something that we needed to change, we would change it, and we have changed it. We have altered plans. We have altered workouts. You just have to stay on the path. Okay, that is the most important thing. Peace out.
Peace.